that you're a superhero because of this power that you've cultivated. And the guy who made me explore this topic now and really is that, and he's not really I mean, he's a professional. He's not pro, but he's an icon now, business magnate, but was is Gary Vaynerchuk. And when you look at Gary, business embodiment, the business embodiment of this just quality. And what is it? Well, being patient. Being patient. Professional bloggers are incredibly patient individuals. Now, Gary V talking about with one of his recent updates how, I'm just tweeting this out to you guys, how the business world in general, with all the people he comes across, how they're generally impatient. So one of the things he mentions, and to me this is just nuts, but again, let's say fear is insane. Fear is insane. But he'll come across people in their early 20s to their early 30s who are deeply depressed and desperate and panicked because they're not already founders. They already haven't made their millions. They already haven't discovered they don't even know what direction they're heading in. Could you imagine somebody, forget 20, he mentioned someone 33 who's panicked what they're doing in life. I'm just really getting clear and figuring out what I'm doing from an authentic energy at 47. Those founders and those iconoclasts that seem to take off in their virtual teens, but 20s and 30s, they're the rarest people in the world next to enlightened beings. And they're guys, most people on a business level, entrepreneurial level, they don't hit their stride until they're in their 30s to 40s to 50s, because most of us just aren't clear. We give into the fears, we live in survival mode, and you're going to find, guys, that professional bloggers develop the superpower of being patient to go pro, or they already appear to have it, but they still have to develop it in most cases. Now, it's going to be a superpower to a largely impatient, hey, Joseph, world, right? Now, we know this. So think about Gary V. When he talks about their 20s, let's say late 20s, who are frustrated that they haven't found action yet with their business, and they've tried a few and they haven't hit it big. So let's look at that case. Do you realize how impatient it is, how panicked you are, how frenzied, and how much fear has to be in your mind? Actually believe that in your late 20s that your time is up and you have. And when I retweeted Gary V's post, I said, if you plan to be around for 60 or 70, 80 years, you may have time patiently. Think about that. More importantly, if you plan to be around for 60, 70, or 80 years, when you act impatiently, you waste all of that time. Logically, do you get it? Do you see what I mean? If you're living in impatience, you're wasting your time because you're living in fear, you're hurrying the process, you're failing, you're the process. If you live patiently, you relaxed and calm, but you will succeed because your success will be exponentially progressive, but it will become exponential over the long haul. So that as a blogger, success will be slow and steady and progressive, and sometimes there'll be stretches where nothing much appears to be happening, but and you serve people and you create and connect for thousands of hours over life, what's going to happen is that over the long haul, smart, generous, patient work will net you exponential success. So everything will keep accelerating success-wise based on those thousands of hours of smart patient things. So as an example, I think 70,000 backlinks point to blogging from paradise. Now, to most people who think, oh my God, I just 1,000 backlinks to your blog or 2,000. Think of the amount of work I had to exhibit, and I still panicked the way, but still, how patient I had to be for a long time to get 70,000 backlinks pointing to blogging for paradise. That's 70,000. That's, nothing to sneeze at. It was actually quite simple, but very uncomfortable. I patiently created and connected for a very long time. However, that's going to appear to be superpower like to most bloggers because they're really impatient. They're not patient. They're not relaxed. They try to rush. They try to get 100 backlinks a day versus building 5 or 10 strong relationships every day. They try to get 1,000 backlinks in a week versus publishing one highly in-depth SEO optimized blog post, which would organically over the wall passively pull in backlinks. Think of that mindset. Look at someone like Neil Patel, and goodness knows how many backlinks point to his. But think of all the thousands of hours he spent publishing a collection of Google dominating SEO optimized posts that generate thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of backlinks passively. So he doesn't leave a comment in anybody's blog. He doesn't chase people down. I know he strategies in the past, blog commenting, guest blogging, but how many thousands of backlinks come to him passively because people find his blog through Google or through their friend network or referral? That was his immense patience. Think of that. It's a superpower. People like him and Gary Vaynerchuk, they do these simple things generously for a long time, and then they experience this stunning exponential success, which to the world will appear, quote unquote, lowercase g, godly, because these guys are so patient. So professional bloggers develop the superpower of being patient, of relaxing, of slowing down, of cooling down, of not panicking and quitting on a proven strategy, becoming flustered. If they do become flustered, not wallowing in it and panicking and bailing on a proven strategy. Sure, they get depressed sometimes. They feel hopeless. They feel maybe angry or frustrated. But after feeling bad feeling emotions, quote unquote, these fear-based emotions, they relax, creating helpful content and building meaningful connections, monetizing through multiple channels, and just sticking to the basics. And guys, that's really it. That is patiently creating and connecting for a very, very long time patiently as your success. And that's it. It's never anything more. Hey, Samuel, thanks for joining. Impatient bloggers think that it is more. They panic. They bail. Now, I've been doing these spaces for a few days, and the first couple spaces got like 50, 60 listeners, and the next one like 40, and then the one from yesterday, I don't know how, but it was just a few. Am I paid, relax, and come right back to it the next day, or do I panic, quit, and say, "Oh, spaces don't work"? Oh, it feels fun to me to do long form spaces. It feels. Not only that, you're giving me feedback that these are helpful. I appreciate it. So when you're saying that they're helpful and I have fun doing it, nobody shows up because I'm having fun doing it. It suits my talents, my skills, my experience, And you've already told me it's helpful for you. Eat up every day. So I'll keep doing it because people will find it eventually. I mean, they're already finding it. Have to be infinitely just highly patient to keep going if a few people show up, or 50 show up, or 100, or no. That's how this whole journey is. It's doing simple things patiently and generously and intelligently and connecting. It's not any more than that. But the impatient blogging masses, and I've been there at certain points in my blogging career, whose minds seem to be dying, fear, manifest as greed and desperation. They panic and either quit unproven strategies, executionally that would bring success, but they tend to make simple, successful blogging strategies complex, unsuccessful blogging strategies, because every blogging strategy that is unsuccessful. You can't succeed by doing things from a complex end. Make blogging complex, you confuse readers who do what you do. And if your readers are confused and they don't understand what you do, they won't. And if they won't trust you, you won't get any blog traffic, you won't get any clients, you won't get any customers. You're making simple blogging, just simple creating and connecting, complex. You're engaging in all these silly strategies. So when you do that, fail and then eventually quit. And it's not because of blogging, guys. It's because you became impatient, or you were impatient to begin with, and blogging campaign went to custard. Meanwhile, professional bloggers develop the skill, the superpower of being long haul patient. So think about someone like Gary Vaynerchuk. The bigger the ambition, the longer the window, the stronger the ambition, the longer the time frame. It takes a really talking about years instead of weeks. When he starts talking a decade instead of months, when he starts talking about 15 years, to understand why the man is so powerful. On a worldly level, why dollars? Because he was playing the 15-year game. On bloggers, the stat a decade ago, which I'm sure is similar, never make more than $100 during their entire online career. They're playing. If you're impatient, you panic, bail, and fail 100% of the time. If you're patient and you develop this skill to over years, and you know that you're going to be around for a long time, so you may as well do what works, succeed. And the more patient you are, and the more you just relax and stick to the basics and detach and trust in yourself and trust the process, you're going to become really successful. However, and this is a really important concept to understand, guys, uncomfortable because impatience manifests as fear. It feels so unpleasant to feel the emotion of panic, emotions of frustration and anger, maybe even blind rage, and then to let them go. It feels really uncomfortable to feel them and let them go and to be upset, pissed, or whatever. But to understand, if you get 1 point from this space live video on YouTube, it is this. When you blog, you waste all of your time 100% of the time. Okay? Really think about that. Really think about that, guys. When you patiently, you waste 100% of your time all the time. So when you all of the time, 100% of your time, you'll fail forever as long as you're impatient. So you're literally wasting your time. Does it make sense the next 2 years of your blogging career to throw it into the garbage because you spend the next 2 years being patient? No. Does it make sense to use those 2 years patiently to build a incredibly strong granite-like foundation for your blogging campaign? Yes. Do you plan to be around? Yeah. Then doesn't it make sense 2 years patiently and to slow down and calm down to succeed? Of course. Logically, this makes sense. Samuel listening, Joseph, everybody else, on the road. You guys know the success you've experienced in any walk of life, offline, whatever, is because you patiently, calmly, confidently, with trust in yourself and trust in the process of whatever discipline, up your skills through practice. It's the only way to do it. And that Steve Pepper, and it stuck to me because I saw how impatience really hurt my blogging campaign on and off for years. Other aspects of my life too. He said to me, if you plan to be around for the next 5 years anyway, and most of us do for sure if we are, but we plan to be here. I mean, hope is a core human element. Doesn't it make sense to spend those 5 years patiently building a foundation for whatever it is you're doing so you do it successfully? Of course. Right? I mean, logically, this makes so much sense. Now, it's so uncomfortable because emotionally you're playing, and then these unconscious fears you have in your mind try to, you need money, you're going to run out of money, you wasted all this time, you wasted 6 months, you wasted a year, you wasted 2 years, you wasted working a job you hated. Now you have to become a professional blogger. You can't go back to this job. You're working it full time. You're doing blogging part time. The job, you got to get out of there. It's never going to work. Never going to work. The superpower of patience. It's going to look in a world of impatient bloggers, because you see it, I see it on a daily basis. You have these bloggers who are quitting after a week, or because they haven't already made $1,000 after 2 months, or they're only getting to their blog after 3 months, and they're impatient. Like, that's so impatient, guys. Relax, stretch your time. One of the quickest ways to become a patient blogger, stretch your frame right now to years and thousands of hours. Don't think you're putting in today on a Sunday, of wherever you are in the world, or say Monday morning, but Sunday. If you're putting in 8 hours today on a Sunday, generously creating, and don't think about 8-hour time frames. Think about thousands executed over months and years. That's how you become patient. And also, well, why not, if you're going to be around for the next 3 to 5 years, and persistently and generously, calmly spend those 3 to 5 years blogging generously from a peaceful space, patiently, to build an incredibly granite-like foundation for a thriving professional blogging career. Guess what? Logically, emotionally, energetically, mentally, it makes perfect sense. However, and this is really, really important, shreds of impatience, or this, pure conscious mind, sometimes the conscious level, because when you start blogging, even if you have these intentions of blogging long term, blogging long haul, when you start blogging patiently for a day or a week or a month, and you're hurrying and you're desperate and you're greedy, you're wasting your time. You may as well not blog, because you're cutting the leg of your blogging campaign. So if you see someone who maybe published a few really posts, okay, and they're 6 months into their blog career, so maybe they've published like 3 really helpful posts a month, long form, and they're laying a real, it appears at least, patient for their blogging campaign. And then 6 months in, they panic. Fear comes up in their mind. Instead of being with it and going back and feeling it and then just returning simple, generous, intelligent blogging, they panic, they fear, they try to resist it, then they start blogging from that fear instead of sitting with it. So then patient, and you'll see this, guys. They'll start publishing only product reviews to make money. They'll stop publishing that really detailed, in-depth patient content. A highly successful blogging career. They'll start pushing their products and services with every tweet. They'll start desperately messaging, emailing 50, 100, 200, asking if they need work, as far as, hey, hire me, that type of stuff. And now when they're doing that, they completely dissolve their reputation, destroy it. They dissolve their credibility. They dissolve the trust factor, stop making money. And then they start wasting their time no matter how hard they work because they're impatient. And that's I'm experienced it myself on some levels for sure. But you see these bloggers who are in this space, they're starting to build something special. And because they become impatient, wasting every minute, because instead of from a place of posture and a thought, trust in the process, trust in self, publishing really deep content, they panic up in their mind. They try to resist it. They become impatient, and they just waste their time messaging strangers for 10 hours a day, cold pitching strangers. They start pushing only reviews and hot deals, time sensitive offers, and they waste their time doing that. They waste their whole day doing that, cold pitching, make $5 here or $100 there. And then 6 months down the road, the impatient thing, they just realize they wasted 6 months. Spend 6 months wisely publishing the in-depth content patiently, and then every split second they were impatient, they wasted their time because they dissolved their credibility because they were impatient. So it's like 6 months ahead, 6 months wasted time backwards. So if you work, you have to go back to being patient. In the case of these bloggers, go on publishing those detailed, in-depth, long-form pieces of content. It's a superpower. It is, because we live in an impatient world filled with unconscious fear, greed, and desperation, and people looking for shortcuts. And then you come across someone like me for 15 years, and maybe something clicks if you're being patient right now, and you say, gosh, this guy's been doing this for 15 years, a decade. If he's saying professional bloggers have this super that we call being patient, maybe I should really pay attention to this guy. Maybe it makes sense. He's been doing it for 15 years. For 15 years, especially like blogging, where in a year you're a dinosaur, or 2 years, 5 years, or you guys see everybody come and go so quickly. I've seen tens of thousands of bloggers come and, even though I did panic and I exhibited some impatience later, because predominantly, and it's built over the years, I've built it up on patience. And that's why bloggers go, wow. And I'm telling, that's one of my secrets, that's superpower. Predominant. I'm patient. I stick with it. But you gotta be patient for years. And being patient means you're connecting. It doesn't mean you're waiting around. And that's another very important point. Really important point. It does not mean you wait around. So I'm not going to space on Twitter, and I'm not going to publish this live video, and then when I'm done, end the stream and close it down on Twitter, end the space, twiddle my thumbs and sit on my hands for the next week. I'm patiently going to wait around for the next week. No, I'm going to peacefully, patiently get back to blogging work after I publish this, broadcast this live video on YouTube, and after I space. But I'm not going to do it from a desperate, impatient. Back to the basics: sharing old blog posts, commenting genuinely on, engaging other bloggers. I promote my courses. I have 2 courses and ebooks. I promote them too, but it's about creating, connecting. That's how you do it. That's how you get the traffic. That's how you build the relationships. You build the trust patiently. So guys, it's coming up on 5. I got some cardio to do in a bit. So I'll short half hour. For a while there, I was going 40, 45, maybe earlier in the day, but I want to get very important to get the fitness going and the mindset stuff and all that superpower that we want to develop. It's called Professional Bloggers Have Being. So thanks so much, Joseph and